I am not my circumstances. I am not homelessness. I am not a drug addiction. I am not an AIDS diagnosis. I am a conqueror. Head held high, I can claim victory over all circumstances that try to define me, because no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I prosper knowing that hope can replace any high that flows through my body. I fly with faith uplifting me. I am not my circumstances. I am not poverty. I am not depression. I am not a disease. I am a champion. I have no fear of my tribulations trying to tie me down, for I believe hope shelters me. My state of mind determines my defeat or my victory. Even when my body is weak, I envision myself a victor. I use weapons to defend my life because I am a soldier. Imagination as my sword, words to shield my life, faith providing energy. I am prepared to fight. Thoughts of everlasting strength is in my mind despite my position. With the wings of an eagle, I can soar above all of my tribulations. Hope raising me high, I can fly above all negative situations. Defeating all of my circumstances is what I am determined to do. Not letting my pain hold me down, but letting my strength shine through. So if achieving all of your aspirations and defeating all of your circumstances is what you dream to pursue, don't let those circumstances define you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lillian Clark. Amazing. Lillian is a 16-year-old student at NFA and a member of Majory Temple Church right here in New London. So one more time for New London's all Lillian. Alliance for Living, New London County's only AIDS service organization, would like to welcome you here today, along with our collaborators, the Provenance Center and Ledgelight Health District, to commemorate 30 years of HIV and AIDS. 30 years of fighting, educating, supporting, and surviving HIV and AIDS. HIV and AIDS is 100% preventable. Join the movement and end new infections. It's possible. We are here today to stand together as a community to ensure that our friends, family, neighbors, and our community are educated about HIV and AIDS and protecting themselves. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. There are events going on around New London today and into the evening to bring awareness to our community about HIV and AIDS. We'll be gathering back here today at 5:30 for spoken word, so feel free to join us. There is an event happening at the Hygienic Art Gallery at 7 o'clock as well. Our good friends at Debs on Bank Street are providing 100% of proceeds from 4 to 6 today. So if there's ever a reason to toast, I'd say that's a pretty good one over at Debs on Bank Street. There's also a party at Frank's Place from 7 to 9. It is all about joining together, raising awareness, and getting to 0 new infections by 2015, and it is possible. To tell us more about that goal, I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of Alliance for Living, Kelly Thompson.
I'd like to start my remarks with thanking our sponsors, and there are many to thank for today. Waterford Olive Garden, Sean Jones, General Manager, donated our whole lunch today. Interim Healthcare of Southeastern Connecticut, Shirley Langford, President. McQuaid's Mystic Market, Annie Stockton, our Senior Medical Case Manager. Jackie Steele, Q105 Director of Marketing and Development. Muddy Waters, at Tenori's, the STARS program of Planned Parenthood, New London. Stephanie Clark, Ledgelight Health District. Nadesha Mahoba, she's president of the Provenance Center and did this beautiful timeline. Please take a look when you get a chance. Doug Moffitt, we just call him the all-around good guy, activist, volunteer. He does food prep, he does it all. We are so grateful. I'd like to thank our development committee at Alliance for Living, Amanda Ripley, Meg Palabiatko, Don Bowen, Marge Laughlin, Carol Jones, Lori Humphrey, and our board president, Gardner Young. I'd also like to thank the rest of the board of Alliance for Living. We really appreciate all the support and your leadership. We'd like to thank our partners, L&M Hospital, Bacchus Hospital, Benny's Home and Auto Store, the Hula Hoops. I'm like, what's Benny's? A Time to Cook, and Felicia's Sweet Face Pastry Shop. I'd also like to bring your attention to our speakers that are here today. Carolyn Paterno will be speaking at the end. Lillian, who did our wonderful poem to open up. Teresa and Doug, who will tell their stories after I'm finished speaking. And a special guest that'll speak after me, the new mayor of New London, Daryl Finizio, and we're so excited. I have to say I'm really nervous. This is my first speaking engagement as the Executive Director for Alliance for Living. And it's also the 30th anniversary of AIDS. And I have a long history, almost 20 years as an AIDS activist. And so this is just an emotional time. And I was thinking about zero infections in 2015 as a theme. And I vacillate between being totally overwhelmed and really motivated. And so, while I was thinking about these remarks, I thought, I can't say all I want to say in 5 minutes about that, about 30 years, about my experience. So I look at this as me beginning the conversation with you, and that we will continue this conversation. I called on a lot of my activist friends this week to say, zero infections in 2015, what are your thoughts? How are we going to get there? One of my friends, Brooke, said, yeah, we're not using that theme for our organization because my director thinks that it's just impossible. And I said, what do you think about it? He said, it's not possible because we're humans and we make mistakes. But we need to diversify. We need to have the vaccination trials. We need to have more medications. We need to have medications that are more affordable. We all need to work together. We need all those efforts to ensure that. Another friend of mine, an activist, said he's over the education and prevention. He doesn't think that it's working. From my perspective, it's not going to be one thing. It's going to be all of those things together. It's going to be all of us joining together to ensure that happens, that we get to zero. And I think the ways that we get there, we've already done. They're what got us here today. They're what got us new medications, people living longer, funding for programs so that as an AIDS service organization, we can provide services to people who need them the most. But we need to look back and remember how we got here. And a really good friend of mine who's an activist wrote a great op-ed column, and I just want to share with you his perspective of how we got here and a little history. And I quote, this is from Rob Tove. In the 1980s, members of ACT UP, the AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power, chained their bodies to the stony edifice of Wall Street to raise awareness and rankle Big Pharma. We actually shut down trading. We fought the NIH and the CDC for expanded access and fast-track approval of much-needed HIV meds. We initiated the Patient Bill of Rights. We were the first to actively work with our doctors as a partner in our own healthcare decision. We were among the first to embrace positive visualization techniques in an effort to stay healthy. We continue to spend billions of dollars on herbal supplements, vitamins, minerals, and a host of other non-traditional immune system supplements. Gay men, our sisters, lesbians, and friends were the angels at our bed and gravesides. We had a very real sense of community back then. I hesitate to say back in the good old days because they were far from good. They were downright frightening. Gay men dying of some disease. Handfuls of AZT, the only drug available at the time, had to be taken on a strict schedule, even though it made you sick to your stomach. The blotchy-skinned, frail man character from Philadelphia was based on reality. Only in Hollywood could Kaposi's sarcoma look so pretty. I remember seeing a young man in his pajamas looking for his car during a blinding rainstorm, dementia having gripped his reality. Also gone are the panic-stricken phone calls for help to change a friend's partner's diaper. With knowledge came power. Blessed gone are the days of being forced to gown up, head to toe, mask, booties and all, when visiting an HIV-positive friend in the hospital. Gone are the days of seeing food trays left at a positive patient's biohazard-branded door, and the days of dating as a game of chance. Taking a chance on dating a guy not knowing Monday if you'd be around for that Friday's movie matinee. Yes, Virginia, that actually happened. These things sound old and cliche, like something out of an early Frost, longtime companion, Angels in America, and the band Play On. Art imitated life and won a Tony Award and a Pulitzer Prize or two. What's important about his remarks is that it talks about the community. It talks about how gay men and lesbians supported their brothers and sisters early on. And the African American community supported, and the Latino community, and the Native American, straight, gay, transgendered, we all came together. That's what this is about. I can't do this alone, Alliance for Living can't do this alone. We need you. We need each other. That's how we're going to get to zero. So as you contemplate zero infections and 30 years of AIDS, and most importantly, those who have lost, that we have lost, and who are living with AIDS today, let's not forget those activists and angels and supporters. Let's not forget our friends and lovers and mothers and fathers and children and grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles and friends and co-workers and community members. Let's not forget them. We owe it to them to continue to work and to re-energize our efforts. And while we're remembering, let's thank the people that are here today. Let's thank Carol Jones. Who has never stopped cheering or working to ensure people with AIDS have dignity and are empowered. Let's thank Linda Heller, who has been there from the beginning. Let's thank Marilyn Weaver, who continues to educate and inspire us. Let us thank Lillian, who is 16. Let's remember that what brought us here today from 30 years ago is that we stood up, we joined together, we loved one another, we supported one another, we empowered each other, and we advocated. Let's continue to do that with renewed energy. Please. And I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Vito Russo from 1998. Remember that someday the AIDS crisis will be over. And when that day has come and gone, there will be people alive who will hear that once there was a terrible disease, and that a brave group of people stood up and fought, and in some cases died, so that others might live and be free. My brave friends, our work continues. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Thompson. How lucky are we to have you? At this time, it's my honor to introduce the Mayor-elect of the City of New London, Daryl Justin Finizio.
Well, thank